Odhiambo sasa wewe si mgeni. Sasa wewe umekuwa mwenyeji. And we are really proud to have you here. Kwa sababu this project, ina aim kuhakikisha kwamba even generations to come, they will benefit from what we are doing today.
Sure.
So it is something that will be there for quite a long time. If at all now people are going to embrace it and do it accordingly. Now, ningetaka kwanza sasa Bwana Charles Odhiambo kutoka World Vision uwasalimie tu watazamaji kwa nusu dakika.
Good morning, listeners. It's another opportunity we have today to look at this conversation, the broader conversation about land restoration efforts in Kenya. And today we shall be looking at our role as stakeholders together with the government in land restoration efforts. Thanks.
Awesome. And then tuko naye ambaye ni naibu mkuu wa uhifadhi wa Mau Conservancy, na kama unavyojua na kama hujua atakuwa anatueleza na aweze kupiga muhuri ya kwamba Mau Conservancy ndio ile ambayo ni kubwa zaidi katika taifa letu la Kenya. Sio mwingine bali ni Bwana Peter Mukera. Bwana Peter Mukera, good morning.
Good morning, viewers.
Yes.
As I'm Peter Mukera, Assistant Head of Mau Conservancy.
Good.
I'm here this morning to share, together with my friend, Dr. Odhiambo, on how it had to restore Mau, and also the larger part of it, the country at large, because we believe things have gone wrong and they need to be restored.
That is very true.
For the forest to give the services to give to its citizens.
Wow.
Be it water, be it climate, region and all that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Karibu sana.
Now,
even before we kick off, yesterday something was happening in my absence because I was also somewhere else. But I thank the Lord because Kate was there and also Bwana Mangichu. Mulikuwa Molo. Can you just briefly tell us what was going down kule Molo?
Yeah, asante sana. Jana tulipata nafasi na maafaka kabisa kwenda mpaka Molo kwa kikundi ambacho inaitwa Squad Donkey Self-Help Group. Kikundi ambacho ilianzishwa 2006 na wakona kama members 26. Na wana badala kukaa tu kuangalia welfare ama well-being ya donkeys, wame diversify sasa. Wamekuja kuangalia pia namna gani wanazaongeza mapato yao na chakula kinyumbani. Kwa hivyo wameanza hii upanzi wa miti na kuweka mche. So they have a good beautiful tree nursery by the roadside, just on your way to Molo Academy. And that is one of the efforts that we want to at least encourage other Kenyans to emulate. Because that piece of land they were given as a donation courtesy of Kenya Forest Services, so that they can get some livelihood out of it. And we've supported them together with Farming Systems Kenya in training and in support to acquire quality seeds that they can now plant. And we were happy to hear from them. They are telling us how they are marketing using mobile technology, mobile phone. Good. We are hearing the diverse varieties of seedlings they are having. Some are indigenous, some are exotic. And they have a lot of knowledge. The indigenous technology is just awesome. The medicinal value of these trees that they have there, the shade that it provides, the windbreak and the soil fertility improvement, all those they can articulate very well.
Awesome.
But they also said they have a challenge, about 2 challenges that they made us to understand. The challenge of getting the potting materials, as well as the challenge of getting sustainable market for their produce. So I'm happy that the team from here recorded part of that conversation, and they'll be playing it so that other people can also benefit from it.
But it's a very, very promising project.
Very promising.
Very promising.
It's a model that we want to be scaled in other parts.
Kabisa.
Yes.
Now, here we are. We are talking about kupanda biti, which is very, very important, and very critical. Kwa sababu any country that is thinking about the future, lazima pia ifikirie mazingira yako katika hali gani. But we all know ya kwamba climate change imekuwa na effect zake. Not only it's not unique in Kenya, but pia katika mataifa mengine. But first of all, we concentrate in Kenya because that is where we are. Now, Na Mau Conservancy kama vile ambavyo unajua it's something that so many people relate to, kwa sababu hata tukiongea mambo ya water catchment areas na nini, hatuwezi kuongea mambo hayo bila kutaja Mau. Aside from all the politics and all those things that surround that place, we are here now to speak on, you know, what we can do we as Kenyans to make sure kwamba tumeweza kurejesha hali hiyo katika njia iliyo safi kabisa. But even before tuanze, how can we make the viewer understand what climate change is and the importance of making sure kwamba we are up and running and making sure that it doesn't take this nation to somewhere that we don't want to go? Bwana Mukiri.
Yeah, thank you very much. Climate change relates to any changes that alters what is predicted. This has come about.
Yeah.
You know, like we can predict seasons, how they should be, the amount of rainfall, and all that. So anything that alters that's expected,
Yes.
is purely a climate change. And you see, it comes along with so many destructive, elements. Like what we are going through now, in that we are getting rains when they are less expected.
Yes.
Our lakes are flooding, most where we are, in the left region. Talk of any lake, Naivasha, Nakuru, Barigo, Bogoria. And with this, there are so many things that are coming up. Go to Bogoria, Baringo, the lake are flooded.
Even I believe there are some hotels there.
Yes.
Really affected.
They are right inside the waters now. The areas that used to be inside the lake are reducing in the area. The road towards Laikipia has been cut. Coming closer to Bogoria here, the famous glaciers are now under the water.
Yeah.
That spectacular tourist attraction is no longer there. Come to where we are, in Lake Nakuru here.
Yeah.
Even the offices,
they had to move.
They had to move.
Yeah.
Going to Nairobi here again, the flower farms, the hotels, the fishing industry is all disrupted.
Yeah.
So these are the issues. Even us as a forest service, we are not able to predict exactly when to do the planting. And you see, this comes with it that things are coming when probably the seedlings are not plantable enough. And here we have very big, huge rains, yet we cannot do the actual planting. There are times we are supposed to do our forest roads, we are supposed to grade them. According to the calendar we went, this time we are supposed to do the road grading and all that. So the rains are coming.
Yeah.
When you are prepared for these things. You see?
Yeah.
So it has affected everybody. And anything towards mitigating that is very much welcome.
Wow.
Well, there are so many ways that will be, coming to.
Yeah, but anything that is aiming at making sure kwamba these places are restored is very much welcome.
Well, very much welcome.
And maybe coming to you, Mr. Charles, wakati ambapo mmekuwa mkitembea, maana ninaamini kutembea mmetembea sana katika nchi hii. Ulitueleza last time ukatembea ambako mmekwenda kule Northeastern, mkajaribu kuzungumza nao kuona vile ambavyo wanaweza wakatumia kulingana na hali iliyoko kule, because eventually hiyo ndio itaenda ikirejesha hali asilia ya maeneo kama haya. I don't know if you have been to places like now the Mau area and meeting people there, because we want to come, but we want you first of all to answer this. Ndivyo tujue, why is this so important to make sure kwamba Mau catchment area is conserved. Mbona kila wakati, because I believe this is a debate yenye huwa mara nyingi kwa midomo ya watu wengi, Mau. Atakuwa anatueleza from that perspective ya Kenya Forest Service why Mau needs to be conserved. So, but for you, maybe have you been to those places and met people from that area, and how is their take on all this? Na nyinyi mmetoa usaidizi gani?
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Kamiti. I want to start by reminding our viewers that this project is Regreening Africa Project, a project that is funded by the European Union for a period of 5 years from 2017 to 2022, and implemented across 8 African countries by ICRAF, and here in Kenya jointly with World Vision Kenya. And we're working in 9 counties, as I said last time. That is Homa Bay, Migori, Nakuru, Baringo, Elgeyo Marakwet, Samburu, Laikipia, Isiolo, and Marsabit.
Yes.
I want to say that for us, the major concern is land degradation. Land degradation is a global issue affecting the livelihoods of so many people. And
it's not just unique to Kenya.
It's not unique to Kenya. Yeah, but the ecosystem has been so much destroyed, and the ecosystem services that we would get pollens, fruits naturally as you graze in the fields when wakati wa utotoni wako. Ulikuwa unakula tu matunda huko. Hakuna mtu anauliza umekula lunch wapi. But true. These things have now gone. So we are very concerned about this, and in Kenya in particular we are aware that about 12 million people live in degraded lands. That is a very high number, and something needs to be done, because if we don't do anything about it, then our food security situation is threatened. Our livelihoods are threatened. Our economy is threatened. And so we are very keen on not just coming to go anywhere, but we are, as I said last time, we are very keen on which counties we are picking. So when we picked Nakuru, we recognize Mau is in Nakuru County.
Yes.
And we recognize that Mau stretches forth to Kericho, Mau stretches forth to Baringo, Mau stretches forth to Bomet as well. Mau is the largest water tower that we have.
Yes.
And Mau is not just an ecosystem that is important to us in Kenya, because water from Mau, River Nile for example, is exported up to other parts of Africa. It goes up to Egypt, Sudan, all the way.
Yeah.
We know that the greatest river Mara has its source in the Mau, and it's a tourist attraction. Both in Kenya through Masai Mara and Serengeti across the border in Tanzania. We talk about the wildebeest crossing, the 7th wonder of the world. That cannot be there if Mau is not conserved.
That is true.
So the livelihood of people, not only in Nakuru but across several parts of Kenya and Africa, are affected by Mau. And so we must take Mau very seriously. And that's why we said no, we must look at how to restore the degraded parts of Mau. And so as we work together with other stakeholders, as I said, we work with government as a primary duty bearer, who has the mandate to work with communities, with farmers, to sensitize them and bring them to a knowledge of why they need to conserve the ecosystem. Because being a national of Kenya is something tunajivunia, lakini inakuja na jukumu pia. So lazima these things watu wapate kuelewa.
Very true.
So we work with Kenya Forest Service to form community forest services. We educate them, or we train them, build their capacities on land restoration approaches that we are promoting, like fruit tree planting, I said, even seedling raising, sustainable management of the ecosystem through farmer money natural regeneration. We support them to access markets. We support them to get registered, and we link them with other players. We also support in policy formulation. We also support in coordination of stakeholders through the forming of technical working groups. Together with the Ministry of Environment.
Now, Bwana Mukiri, thank you so much for that kind of explanation. Indeed, it's deep, and I believe our viewer can already now draw that picture in his or her mind kuona what we're talking about. Now, Bwana Odhiambo hapa ametupeleka the reason as to why we really need to make sure kwamba Mau is conserved, because it is not only helpful to us as Kenyans, lakini pia kuna nchi zingine kule nje ambazo zinategemea the same thing. But probably now, because I also know you know much about that place, hizi efforts za kujaribu na kuconserve the Mau water catchment area imefikia wapi? Zinaonesha matumaini, zinazaa matunda? What are some of the challenges that maybe you are coming into contact with as you undertake this noble task?
Yes, Bwana Committee, I thought, I wanted to just mention a few other uses of the Mau. Before getting to the measures we're putting in place, because we're in Kenya, our economy is agricultural based, and that cannot go without being mentioned. That Mau, being the biggest catchment in the country, is also contributing highly in supporting agriculture.
Yes, sure.
Highly. Then he didn't mention about the tourism sector. We are in it.
Yes.
He mentioned that. Look at the energy generation through hydropower. Mau is contributing this through Sodumireu. Sodumireu has a source from Mau here. Then talk of, other forms of agriculture, irrigation, like in Baringo here. The Pakera is getting water from Mau.
It gets its source from
yes.
Pakera
Basically, this River Moro.
Wow.
Yes. And then in the Raja, the Raja, layout, domestic use, water for domestic use.
Mau.
Through the many rivers that come originate from this ecosystem. There are several. So they going to Mara, going to the river through Narok, and Darugo here, Moros, there are 10 of them from this ecosystem. Drainage to all the basins.
Yeah.
The road south of Narok, Baringo, and then, Mara through Tanzania. We have the Sodu, Mereu.
Awach.
All that.
Yeah.
All these rivers are coming from this Mau complex.
Yeah. So it is the heartbeat of all these things.
It's the heartbeat. Whatever happens around this region is dictated by what's happening in this wonderful forest of ours. Then look at the climate moderation. You can imagine the amount of carbon this big forest is sinking. A lot. So it is really assisting in carbon sequencing within the region.
And that's why we enjoy the fresh air.
Yes, right from this forest.
Good day.
And then lastly and equally important, we also supply wood for domestic and industrial uses. So this is the marsh, rather a few uses that the ecosystem is supporting in the country.
Okay.
And then recognizing all this, then it's equally important to ensure that we have that forest there, all these uses sustained, and yet the forest remains, and if anything, improve its health through conservation, that is.
Okay. So
there have been several approaches.
Okay.
And these have been supported by several legislations. There's the Forest Act, and these are the acts, the NEMA, the Agriculture Act, and all these. And more importantly, the involvement of the communities in the conservation of the forests. Because we realize that in the absence of the communities, then the amount of destruction we are witnessing could not be that big. You see, they are the major elements of destruction.
Yes.
Because other than human destruction, whatever would be termed as a natural destruction would be minimal. Lighting and landslides and all that, because they wouldn't come if the forest has not been degraded. Yeah. So we have deliberately made use of the users, who are the communities, to come together, collaborate with us.
Yes. Work as a team.
Work with the team through structured, formations. Yeah. Like, and this one is provided for in Forest Management and Conservation Act, 2016, that is. That every forest station, remember, a forest station is the smallest working unit within our forests.
Yeah.
So every forest station should have a community forest association, which by and large is composed of the adjacent communities. So these are the people who are making use of that forest. Okay. Either they do collect firewood from the forest, they graze the animals in that particular forest. They have their water sources from this forest. Yeah. They are going for berries, tobacco fruits, and everything else.
All those things.
So with them, they have that direct, touch with the forest. So getting them together again to conserve the same resource has not been difficult. Okay. And more into that is that we find that it works. It works because they understand the forest better.
They see the sense behind.
They see they see it.
Yeah.
They see it.
Okay.
And by so doing, you find that most of the destructive elements, let's say illegal felling of trees, has gone down. Yeah. We have also encouraged them to go for, improved animal husbandry.
Okay.
They don't drive all the animals to the forest. At times we encourage them to do dairy farming so that they will only go to the forest to cut the grass and carry it home for the animals.
Yeah.
Then when it comes to overruns on these forest resources for wood, remember, we are saying this, that most of, more than 80% of people are using, wood as a source of energy, cooking, writing, and all this. So to reduce that dependence on these important forests, we have moved out of the forest to ensure that some of these services can be provided by their own farms through tree planting.
Okay. Okay.
In a big way, encouraging them to do tree planting, going for proper tree species that can meet their demands.
The needs, yeah.
If it's firewood, you go for the right species, for timber and all that.
The right ones, yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
That we're doing with this, with the groups.
Okay.
And these are efforts that are bearing fruits. Then we're also encouraging non-wood utilization of the forest. Look at it. You don't just have to go cut wood and all that.
Yeah.
There are some other interventions you can put right there. Who should be able to generate income for these communities.
Okay.
Like beekeeping, for instance. You organize some groups. They have the apiaries there, or the traditional hives, and they can harvest honey.
Yeah.
That way they're using the forest, but in a dissecting manner.
Okay.
In other places, ecotourism, tented camps and all that.
Yeah.
We are really encouraging this. So that, and this is all meant to get our people appreciating what the forest can offer.
Okay. Yes. So, as we are saying, is that this project is not just meant for us, it's also meant for those people who will come after us, because by the end of the day hatutakaa hii dunia milele. But sasa that means generations to come wataweza kubenefit from these inputs ambazo zinawekwa sahi. That is why nobody has to be selfish when we talk about the environmental conservation. But maybe also coming to you, uweze kutu highlightia briefly ya kwamba making people really understand the importance of making sure kwamba we conserve our environment. And now it gets into them and they see, by the way, whatever I'm being told, it is really something that is there. What are some of the challenges that now you encounter in making them really understand why it is very much important to conserve the environment?
Thank you so much, Mr. Committee.
Yes.
I think before I go to the challenges, allow me to go back briefly to say that as my friend Mr. Mukira said, that when we talk of landscape restoration, it is a holistic approach to restoring degraded lands, not only in the forest, not only in the riverine ecosystem, but also even on farm. So we are trying to look at every stakeholder to be involved. Yeah. Because, for example, the floods we have in Nyando, in Nyatike, in Bunyala, Budalangi, are as a result of destruction in the Mau. So we are treating symptoms if we don't deal with the source or the big problem. The big problem is in the Mau. So when we are going to take food supplies there, Kenya Red Cross Society is running to rescue people, put them in camps or schools, calling them refugees. We are only addressing symptoms. So the farms that we ourselves, who might have been really doing much to teach them agroforestry, would have been swept. Yeah. So we must involve every stakeholder. Yes, yes. Every generation, the young, the youth, and the old must all be involved.
They must be there.
Yes, and so this project offers an opportunity for us to deliberately and systematically integrate trees with crops and livestock production systems. And the approaches we are promoting, as I said the other time, are low cost, farmer friendly, environmentally sustainable, and therefore with very high impact. We don't want to bring things which after the project goes, people will say that one didn't work or went with the project. Tunangoja zingine tena.
Haikuwa practical.
So that is the approach we are trying to promote. And some of these approaches, as I said, like farmer managed natural generation, you don't even need to do much. You use only what your hands, and if you have a knife or a panga, those are the implements you'll be using.
Yeah.
And you are managing this tree.
Okay.
You are nurturing it. You know, management, some people, they just think it's pruning.
Yeah.
It could be removing the weeds around it. It could be growing in a zigzag way. You are putting a stick to straighten it and tying it on that stick.
Yes.
After some time, you have reshaped the nature of which it's growing. That is an approach.
Okay.
We talked about value chain development. We look at, other than the trees you have grown, have you grown trees that can add value, like what he was saying? Honey. Yes, you have the tree, but now what else? Will you just be admiring tree and you have nothing in there, in the stomach or nothing in the pocket?
No.
You can put some
You'll
honey
be tempted
there.
to cut it down.
Exactly.
But when that tree inakuletea faida zingine unajua
exactly.
There you go.
Then fruit trees again. We said very many people don't know that children are malnourished in this country. Not because the country is poor, but because of our eating habits.
Yeah.
You find a mama in the morning is rushing to job, na nawekea mtoto packed meal. The packed meal anamwekea ni gani? Ni chakula na ngwashe. I mean, mshele na ngwashe. Sasa hiyo ni nini? Starch na starch. Hakuna fruit,
hakuna vitamins, hakuna proteins.
Mtoto anakuwa na shida zingine sasa. Unaona? So when you have matunda kama maembe, kuna paipai,
ndio.
Iko ingine hapa watu
avocado.
Ingine watu wanafikiria sio matunda mzuri. Hii inaitwa guava. Unajua guava?
Inaitwaje kwa Kiswahili? Inakaaje?
Guava ni mapera, I think.
Yellowish, mapera.
Mapera.
Yes. Gando.
Yes. Si unajua hiyo? Mapera hiyo. Very rich in vitamin C.
Ile ya mbegu ndani.
Hiyo mbegu ndani. Very rich. Na tukikuwa watoto tulikuwa tunakula tu kwa mistuni huko, hata ndege nakula ina drops zingine. Siku hizi zimepotea.
Good.
But even that can be grafted. Na inatoa mbegu kubwa ambayo unaweza even tin it.
Yeah.
So, hizi ni vitu ambayo tuna promote
kabisa.
So fruit tree growing, value addition.
Yeah.
So tukikuja kwa challenges.
Maybe the one main
ni attitude. Sisi tunaona kama tulifunzwa na watu wa kilimo, ukitaka kupanda mahindi ama chakula mimea yoyote unakata miti yote. So tukisema tuwache miti itasumbua wakati wa kulima ama kupalilia. But trees are not, depending on how you put them, systematical and deliberate. So you put them where it will also facilitate your mechanization of agriculture. And where it's also going to give you some benefit like shade, like binding soil particles together and fruits like that.
Okay.
Yes.
Na umesema kitu kimoja ambacho ni kizuri sana, attitude ya mtu ile ya kufeel if I want to do farming, hii miti yote sitaki kuiona hapa. Na anakosa kujua kwamba hiyo miti ndio itafanya hata hivyo vyakula viweze kunawiri hata na zaidi. But there is also something else that I believe we are going to address next week because time is not together with us. Because uko Molo huko ndiko nimezaliwa, niliishi kusikia hii miti usipotoa hapa itafanya vyakula vidhoofike mashambani. Tunaangalia next week probably how is that, na kama ni true what can be done in order to make sure kwamba then kuna remedy yake, because I used to hear that a lot even from home. Kata hiyo kata ndivyo mahindi kwa meeting so tunaangalia ni theories tu ama zina ukweli ndani yake, na kama kuna ukweli what we should do. But maybe because I want us to wind up and I really hope ya kwamba tutapata another session with you, because I think we have a lot to talk about also, plus the viewer aweze ku understand. Probably what will be your final word to the viewer?
Yes, to the viewers.
In a minute.
One would be a request that we need their support.
Good.
We need their support in forest protection. Because much of the destruction is being caused by the same communities. So I would request that they support us in forest protection.
Okay.
Not even forest protection, but tree protection. We should be in the art of tree growing, not just planting. So once planted, take care of the young trees. I mean the young seedlings to come up to being big trees. And together with that, I would also request that whenever conditions allow, we have enough moisture build up. Wherever you are, ensure that you do some tree planting.
Okay.
This will go to a big way towards assisting us in achieving the 10%.
All right.
As envisaged in the Vision 2030.
Asante sana. Ningetaka tuendelee zaidi, but you know time is not on our side. Bwana Odhiambo, I know ya kwamba we still have another session next week.
Yes.
And I know there are some things that we are going to address. In the meanwhile, wewe ambaye ni mtazamaji wetu, kama uko na birthday, unatuma neno birthday, nani ambaye uko na birthday unatuma ujumbe hapa, lakini lazima uanze na birthday. Usipoanza na birthday ujue ujumbe wako unakunywa maji. Lakini wakati ambapo unajitayarisha kutuma hiyo birthday, kuna watu wengi sana ambao wametuma jumbe zao. Thanks so much for this program. It's very important to conserve our ecosystem. Anasema Dr. Odhiambo and Mokiri, Regreening Africa Project. Kuna yule ambaye anasema hivyo. Pia kuna mwingine hapa ambaye anasema kwamba this is a topic that we really need to talk, with boldness, kwa sababu haimlengi mtu, inalenga nchi nzima, kwa sababu mazingira yakiharibiwa sote tunakwenda kwenye kapu moja. And then kuna mwingine hapa ambaye anasema wa mwisho hapa, what I know, the law of the land provides every suspect with the right to know the reason for arrest. Huyo alikuwa anazungumza kuhusiana na kitu kingine. And then kuna mwingine hapa ambaye anasema I never knew ya kwamba that's how important Mau conservancy is to the nation. Ndivyo anavyosema hapa, but I believe ya kwamba we'll be having this discussion next week, right? Yeah. Now tunapata birthday, wageni hata waendi, watakaa hapa. Nafikiri wengine watanisaidia hata na kuimba. Tuma nasoma sasa hivi. Good. Kuna huyu auendi hapo. Kuna huyu ambaye anasema #birthday utoi lolote. Anasema Amlea kutoka Narok, happy birthday to my daughter Natalia Sintalo as she turns 11. May she continue to experience God's favor and love her life. Anaitwa Lea. So Lea, happy birthday. Let me sing for you. Happy birthday to you. You know how to sing. Let's go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you, Lea. Happy birthday, dear Lea. Happy birthday to you. Kesho naanzisha kwaya, mtakuwa washirika. Haya, acha kama kuna mwingine baraka. Yeah. Anasema birthday to my mom. Anaitwa Mama Njeri. She's now turning 75 years old. We love you mama. Happy birthday, ndivyo anavyosema hapa. Someone else anasema happy birthday to dear friend called Charity from your friend Faith wa Mutera. Anasema God bless you. Nikaangalia upande huu mwingine haraka nione kama kuna wa kwanza. Anasema happy birthday to my guka. Okay. Unasema ya kwamba Bwana John Madhambo. Unasema 95 years and going strong. COVID haikuwezi. Mungu ako na wewe. Unasema happy birthday dear grandpa. Mwingine hapa haraka nikienda kutamatisha, muda ndio huo unakwisha. Anasema happy birthday to my son Adrian as he turns 6. And I believe ya kwamba tomorrow tutapata muda zaidi wa kuweza kukuishia happy birthday, lakini tunamalizia na kuimba sasa ile ya January ya kusema happy birthday dear viewer. Ndivyo kila mtu ambaye alikuwa na birthday leo afila kwamba ako represented. Let's go. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday dear viewer. Happy birthday to you. Sasa shida ni kwamba sisi wote tuko na bass, hakuna kusema imba soprano. God bless you so much. Hiyo ndio birthday. May God bless you so much. Pia ni siku kwa niaba ya mwenzangu Kate Kulo, langu jina ni Kamiti Wilson. Kesho ni Thursday, tunakuanga na wape, lakini pia kuna possibility nitakuwa mahali kwa hoteli. Tutakwambia kesho asubuhi. Usiende mbali, kwa heri.